Face having ass. What's going on, you guys? It's Eric Peoples back here again via the Sean Harris page with another My Two Cents review. Happy holidays. Hope the year's been treating you guys right. We're talking about Aquaman, baby. If you're new to the channel or never seen any of my videos, I talked about my favorite shows, movies, ideas, share them with you guys. Give my reviews on the story, the visual effects, music, whatever it is, and give it a grade at the end. Aquaman was directed by James Wan, stars Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, Yahya Abdul II, I think that's what his name is, Patrick Wilson. It takes place maybe, I don't know, about maybe a year after Justice League, and we pick up with Arthur just doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Really getting into the story aspect of it. He's a loner for the most part. You see why he had such a real big griff about when people mentioned his mom or mentioned Atlantis. There's a origin story. This is basically an origin story, and also filling in the gap of what happened after not Batman versus Superman, but Justice League. So he's a loner for the most part. He goes around, he helps people when he can, but he's not he's not that type of guy. There's a hilarious scene where right after he meets Black Manta's character and ultimately helped create Black Manta, there's a bar scene, and him and his dad are talking to these group of guys, big tough guys come up, and they're like, you that fish boy? And he's like, yeah, I'm that fish guy. You know what I'm saying? So what do you want? And they're like, hey, can we get a picture with you? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, what? And really, really cool scene. Basically after that, the story really kicks off with Orm taking over as king, and he wants to become Ocean Master. Ocean Master in this story is basically a title, someone who has complete military control over all of the kingdoms of Atlantis, which there are 7 if I'm not mistaken. So he wants total control, and he's slowly but surely getting all of these guys on deck. The reason why he wants to do it, I don't think the story conveyed it enough, but with me keeping up with it and knowing a little history about it, I'm not the biggest Aquaman fan. Which is real life stuff. We are destroying, we're taking away sea life, we're polluting it with the oil and all sorts of crazy trash that we throw in there, and they're getting it. Their kids are getting sick off of it. And Orm is basically like, you know what, we need to let them know that we're here and we're not going to take this shit. And that's basically where Mira kind of sees that, because she's supposed to be married off to him as Princess Azebel. She's supposed to be married off to him, and she kind of sees that, so she goes get Arthur and Volko, who was William Dafoe's character, who was sent to train Arthur secretly because he is the firstborn son. So Arthur's like, nah, I'm good, and then he's kind of forced into the situation. He goes and he challenges, but of course it doesn't turn out very well. And then the adventure really picks up after that with like an Indiana Jones type feel to it. They go into the Sahara Desert, which is a cool nod if you ever heard of like the real Atlantis and where they think it really is. The story is pretty much cut and dried. There's nothing really like surprise. There's nothing there like that. So it wasn't hard to keep up with. There's nothing that really had me scratching my head like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Arthur and Mira meet for the first time in Batman versus Superman. You know what I'm saying? She was like the beloved firstborn son of Queen Atlanta. That was their first time meeting, and then they meet again in this one, and he's kind of like, yeah, off, but very nicely. But eventually, of course, they do start coming around and liking each other and so forth and so on. But the story really wasn't that hard to keep up with visually. Oh my god, James, man, and that visual team, man. I mean, Atlantis was freaking beautiful. A lot of the dry land scenes, they shot things in the Sahara, well, supposedly the Sahara, in Italy. Beautiful stuff. The visual effects never took you out of it. I thought the hair was a bit wavy, because it was flowing with the with the water or whatnot. That was the only little nitpick that I could possibly do with the visual effects. Otherwise, like the huge Kraken thing and all of that shit. I mean, there's so much in this movie that is bananas. The trench, all of that. It's super crazy. Visual effects, top notch. They should have been nominated. They should be nominated next year if they're not going to be nominated this year for an Academy Award. The acting. Nobody in this movie made me sit there and say, I don't believe you. Or you're just there for a check. Everybody came to play. Aquaman, Jason Momoa, he's made the character his own. He's not the same character that you see in the comics, but he has a lot of heart, and that's where the real meat and potatoes of the story comes from and drives. Ocean Master is pretty much Ocean Master from the comics without the Shakespearean dialogue that they give him in the comics. Mira is Mira, you know what I'm saying? I would have liked to see her be a little bit more badass, but there is a certain scene where she water bends like wine and is really badass. So, totally fine with that. And Yahya Abdul II as Black Manta. Somebody, one of the famous reviewers said that, Jeremy Johns, he said that he saw Black Manta as Boba Fett. And that's a great analogy. A lot of people say, oh, well, his dialogue was too cheesy and he was yelling and there was a lot of yelling. Yeah, because of the situation. If you really paid attention to the movie, yeah, situations will lead you to that. And this is Black Manta becoming, like Aquaman becoming. They're becoming their characters that they are in the comics. They're not going to be 100% straight from the comics, but they are supposed to have some sort of characteristics of those characters. Like Arthur isn't the same Arthur from the comics. Jason Momoa has thrown a lot of himself into that character. So with Black Manta, I completely enjoyed the character. I'm anxious to see where they're gonna go with him. Honestly, for what I understand about early, like last year when I was looking at Comic-Con stuff, it was always set and said that this was about Ocean Master, not about Black Manta. So no, he's not meant to be a big thing in this movie, but his setup is in this movie. How he gets his tech is in this movie. His reasons is in this movie. And they're not completely, I'm just pure evil. Yeah, he's a pretty bad guy. When you first see him in the beginning of the movie, it's like, was that really necessary? But he's a pirate, you know what I'm saying? And then you kind of empathize with him a little bit too. So I'm really interested in seeing where they take that character for 2, because he will be the main villain along with Dr. Singh, if I'm not mistaken, that's his name. They will be the main villains of part 2. I had thought of this incredible monologue at the end of it, because the way I think about it is like, how can you match Ocean Master, who is full Atlantean, who has the power of the 7 seas that he's trying to wage war with? Black Manta is nowhere near that as powerful or as influential. And I would say that Manta has to attack in another way. He has to attack the heart of Arthur Curry. What does Arthur love? Arthur is going to learn to love Atlantis, but he loves being on the dry land. He loves having his beer. He loves being with his father. He loves all of that stuff. So that's the way you attack it. While Arthur's down in Atlantis, you start creating and sabotaging all of these different things on the ocean, on the dry land, making it look like Atlantis did it, similar to how Ocean Master was doing things to orchestrate things for Atlantis to rise up and attack. Black Manta is going to do that for the dry land, and inevitably kidnapping Arthur's father, who I'm quite sure he's not going to be still with Arthur. Oh, no, I'm not gonna spoil that because this is not a spoiler review. But yeah, he kidnaps Arthur's father. This is for two. This didn't happen in the movie. I'm just saying, thinking out loud. He has to kidnap Arthur's father, but he doesn't kill him. But he makes Arthur believe he kills him, which makes Arthur want to retaliate, causing this big thing. So that's where they can really go with two and make it really, really emotional. Yeah, the music, the score by William Rupert Grayson, I think it is. He's the same guy that did Wonder Woman, which was an amazing soundtrack. It grew on me. This soundtrack grew on me. It took me a while to really get used to the whole synthesized sound, and but I'm like, okay, all right, I can live with this. Arthur's theme is really, really cool, and Manta's theme is really cool. So yeah, Aquaman is a fun time. I mean, is it something that you'll be like, oh man, I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life? For me, no. But there are kids out there who probably want to explore the ocean and love ocean life and stuff like that, and it will hit them hard. And just people who like adventures, I think you would really dig this movie. And it has does have great heart to it that I think movies like Batman versus Superman kind of lacked on. Suicide Squad had it, but it was like it was like hit or miss. Man of Steel had it, but there's a certain charm that Wonder Woman had that I think a lot of people saw that movie and really liked. This movie has that. James has not signed on to do two. They need to sign him up to do something because he made an incredible movie. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. There's nothing really bad about the movie that I can really say. It was pretty daggone good and enjoyable. So if you enjoyed this review, hit like. If you did like it, dislike it. Maybe you'll start seeing a little bit more videos down the line. Maybe you won't. I know that Justice League video that I had put out, that was like a year ago. I had did that review as soon as I had saw it, and I just went through my phone and wound up seeing it. I had uploaded it, so that was a really raw reaction to it. I had a couple of days to really marinate on Aquaman because I saw it on Friday. So that was a really raw reaction. And I know that I said I was going to talk about Star Wars in that last video. I did not like The Last Jedi. Just for anybody that saw that video, it was like, hey, I wonder what did he think about Last Jedi because I don't see it in there. I hated that movie. So much I didn't like about it. It's probably the worst Star Wars ever. So that's how I felt about that. You want to hear why? Hit me in the comments. Other than that, I'll see you later. Take care of each other. Love each other. Peace.